Hello, what is up? What's good? Welcome into the OnlyBets Sports Podcast Monday edition alongside Stern Bets, Drew Dookie. I'm the Prince of Picks. Got an action-packed show lined up for you guys today, of course. We're going to be recapping what the weekend that was. We had a ton of sports going on over the past couple of days. Of course, World Cup in full swing here as we are getting into the end of the group stages. So we'll be sure to cover our thoughts on some of that. Of course, we had UFC over the weekend, Major League Baseball, some WNBA action. We had PGA Open Championship was going on as well. So a lot to cover and get into here, and we'll get into that shortly. Let me go ahead and pass it over to Mr. Sternbest. Good morning, Mosh. Happy Monday. How was your weekend, bro? What's going on?
Oh, weekend was good. Model picks are flying. The premium articles are really solid. I went 4-2, including a full unit play on Saturday, and then I went 3-1 yesterday, including a full unit play. So you know what? We're rolling, we're rocking. I'm looking forward to a great week ahead. We got some good weather coming. Hopefully we don't have any more cold weather till the end of the year. So you know what? It's all looking up, brother. How was your weekend?
Yeah, same for me, guys. Pretty good weekend overall here. As I'm recapping the plays that we gave out on Friday, we did miss in our WNBA parlay. We've been hitting those a lot. This one, we had Caitlin Clark 18 plus points. She did cover that. We also had Angel Reese 10 plus rebounds. She only got 8 rebounds, so we missed that by two boards. Otherwise, we would have cashed that. So we did miss that one. But we did hit on Yankees over 3.5, Dodgers over 3.5. That cash. We hit on Netherlands, Sweden, both teams to score. That cash. And we also hit on Egypt, team total over 1.5. That cashed as well. So 3-1 overall over the weekend. And we'll see if we can start off this week on a high note.
Yeah, just to recap Friday's plays, I went 1-1 in the MLB. Gosh, that Tigers bullpen really just loves giving up runs late. That really sucked. I feel like we deserved that. But the Yankees got it done, -1.5, no problem. And I think I lost my first UFC play of the year on this specific show. So unfortunately, Lima couldn't get it done. The over 1.5 rounds cash, but he did not win the round. So it's a loss. Drew, welcome in, brother. How you doing? How was your weekend?
My weekend was doing good. My weekend was good overall. For the show plays that I gave on Friday, I went 3-0, I believe. I remember I hit a player outs play. I don't necessarily. I forgot who it was. I think it was Scooble over 16.5, and then we hit a couple three-way money lines
Yeah, I have
for
it right
Friday
here.
and Saturday as well.
Yeah, you hit Scooble over 16.5 outs. You had Morocco three-way money line, and then you had Japan three-way money line. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you're 4 or 5-0 in World Cup.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it's like 5-0. And then I know I messaged play to you guys yesterday for baseball and ended up hitting two as well. So
Yes,
hope
yes,
we keep
sir.
it
Yes, sir.
going.
It did. That Phillies team is on a heater. I called this out a few weeks ago. It's about
It's
time.
crazy. Oh yeah. So Bryce. Oh, I'm gonna say a shout out to Bryce Harper hitting for the cycle and five. They hit for just in 5 innings. I'm glad they gave him the triple. It's kind of like I was watching that game partially with Joe Buck. Was calling the game, and it was one of those. I don't know if people know someone's rounding third, and the ball's at shortstop. Even though the guy make it third, if they throw it home, they sometimes will call it as a double fielder's choice. But there's no way in the Philly stadium the scoring people we're going to make that a triple because in the Phillies fan, we're probably right.
By the way, I gave that
I mean,
out on the VIP channel. The Bryce Harper hit a home run, so that was a nice cash out. Gave that out yesterday, and I thought there was good conditions for him to hit to go yard, and he did. So nice little plus 450, something like that, 430, 440, something like that. Nice little cash
well,
out there.
well, something I do wonder is when's the last time uh, that they had two players on any team had two players on one team in the same day have a hit for the cycle and hit for 3 home runs.
I think it was somewhere in the 60s or 80s. If I'm not
Yeah, that's just
mistaken.
crazy.
Yeah, wild night. Schwarber hit 3 home runs in that game. I mean, the Phillies just absolutely demolished, double digits to like two. But let's get into baseball today. If you guys were following me last year, you know that at this point in the year, I start to ramp up my volume. I'm going to keep my official public plays simple, one or two. We've been crushing it at around 62% win percentage. So I'm not going to mess with this. But if you guys want, I have 11 more plays on my premium Substack channel, so definitely go check that out. It's only $2 a week. I don't think it's that much. Anyway, Drew, where are we going first in the MLB slate today? We've got quite a good one.
Yeah, and I want to highlight before I go to my pick, game that I'm looking forward to. I always like this when we see, two teams from a different country, like that originally played in a different country, face. I wanted to know your thoughts first on the Cubs versus Mets. We have Shota Imanaga versus Kodai Senga. I'm pretty sure it's both two people that used to play in the Japan League. I think against each other as well. So yeah, I was wondering about that. That should be exciting.
I actually have the over in that game, but I've been expecting the Mets offense to wake up for quite a little bit. The Cubs offense was dormant for a while, but I kind of like both of these teams to kind of turn it around. I have a slight lean towards Chicago, just simply because the Mets offense is just so pitiful lately that I can't really back the New York Mets. So I would say heavy lean to Chicago and a heavy lean to the over is kind of how I see that game.
Yeah, I like that a lot, personally. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I know Kodai has not been as good as we expected. He hasn't really been as the same since his injury last year. So it'd be good to see him and Shota get back to their form because they're both very exciting pitchers to watch. Of course, something we know they'll always throw is the splitter because Japan made that extremely famous. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to we're going to go to the Dodgers Twins game. And then Twins are facing a lefty. They usually do well against lefties. Eric Lauer. He got sent to the Dodgers not so long ago. He has done pretty decent his last two starts. He's at a 6 innings pitch and 5.2 innings pitched. He's on 93 pitches, 89 pitches, but I actually like his under 16 and a half outs here. He doesn't really have great underlying metrics. He'll occasionally walk batters, and then the Twins' offense can be extremely hot. Something I also like about the Twins at their home stadium, they tend to hit generally much better. If you just look at the Twins recently in the last games, yeah, their pitching has been struggling, but against the Diamondback series, they scored 4 runs, 16 runs, 5 runs, and then before that, the 2 games before that, they scored 9 runs and 12 runs. So this is a very hot offense against a pitcher who is still trying to, find his groove and doesn't really have overwhelming stuff like he did yesterday. I'm pretty sure. I mean, last year. I'm pretty sure his breaking stuff has not breaking like he used to last year, and I just don't expect him to be able to make it that long. The one caveat is, of course, Dave Roberts likes his pitch to go longer, so he has a 6-man rotation. But I think they can knock him out of the game early with how hot their offense has been.
I love this play. I really do. I have a heavy lean on the over in this game. I think both teams hit offensively. 3 points to your pick right here. First off, the Twins, I think, are the number one hitting team against lefties in the league. Eric Lauer, lefty. If you see those big, powerful aces coming into town against Minnesota, you see that they got rocked this year. Second, Twins have averaged 6.33 runs in the first 5 innings, just in the last 3 games. They are number one in the league in scoring in the first 5 innings, and that average only goes up at home. So yeah, I'm definitely on board to this. I can see both teams getting out here. I think this is a sharp play, man. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, let's go. I love it.
All right, I'm going to go to a parlay here, and I apologize. I'll go slow so that you guys can input it as I'm saying it, but and I apologize. I try to keep it simple, but I had 11 picks, and I just didn't know which one I wanted to elevate to be my official play. So I took an amalgam of all my favorite things on the slate here. Brewers team total over 2.5, parlayed with the Red Sox team total over 3.5. Parlayed with the White Sox team total under 5.5 at -108 on Caesars. Just once again, Brewers team total over 2.5, Red Sox team total over 3.5, and White Sox team total under 5.5. So again, this is an interesting one. It's not necessarily my normal MO, but the Brewers are playing the Reds in Cincinnati, facing Brady Singer, who has been on a good stretch here. He's given up just 4 runs in his last 3 starts, but the underlying metrics are truly troubling. He has an 11% barrel rate to a 42.5% hard hit rate with just a 17% strikeout rate. I just don't see continued success against a team that can manufacture runs like Milwaukee can. The second play here, the Red Sox team total over 3.5. This is just simply a Coors play here. They're playing the Rockies, 88-degree temperature, 9 miles per hour wind blowing out left. Ryan Feltner is on the mound for Colorado, and he similarly carries really rough underlying metrics. He has a 10.5% barrel rate to a 44.5% hard hit rate. Finally, the White Sox are facing the Guardians and Gavin Williams. Now, Gavin Williams, I think, is really due to bounce back here. He did give up 7 runs last time out to Milwaukee, but I like positive regression here. The White Sox have dropped off offensively. They've failed to surpass 5+ runs, or I guess 6 runs in their last 6 games. I really like Gavin Williams to go 6, 7, or 8 innings and give up maybe 1 or 2 runs. And then the Guardians bullpen is 4th in the league. So I'm not really concerned with the White Sox, despite their offensive production this year. I really do not see them scoring more than 5 runs. If you wanted to just play around with the different team totals and just take 2 out of the 3 of these, I don't mind taking the White Sox team total under 4.5 with maybe the Red Sox or the Brewers team total over 3.5 or 4.5 either. So play how you like. These are my looks for the day, and I'm really looking forward to watching the slate. Drew, any thoughts on this one? Hey, Drew, you there? All right, might have stepped out for a second. Prince, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Any thoughts on this this little 3-leg parlay here?
No thoughts in particular for me, but yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I was half expecting you to pull out a Dodgers team total or something. That was the other team that I was looking at. I really do expect runs in that game. So, yep, that's going to be it for baseball. Unless Drew or you have any other thoughts or plays that you want to get to.
Yeah, I do have a play. I just came up with one right now here. So yeah, I do have one team total parlay that we're gonna go for today, guys. I'm looking at the Padres and the Braves. I like the Padres team total under 5.5 runs here as leg 1 of this parlay. We're looking at the stats here. The Braves come into this one with a pretty solid ERA in terms of their pitching staff. Number 2 in the league in ERA, number 3 in terms of hits allowed, 3rd in runs, 2nd in earned runs. So a top pitching staff here for the Braves. And we're looking at the Padres. Looks like they are dead last in almost every hitting category. 30th in batting average, 30th in runs, 30th in hits. 25th in doubles, so 28th in runs batted in. So it looks like this Padres team is really struggling with their bats. So I'll take their team total under 5.5 here against a pretty solid Padres pitching staff. And we'll parlay that with the Rockies and Red Sox. You touched on it before already. This is just playing Coors Field here. I'm going to be on the Rockies side of it. I'll take the Rockies team total over 3.5. Again, Rockies seem to be in pretty good form in terms of their hitting. So I think they should be able to get a few runs here at home against the Boston Red Sox. So give me the Rockies over 3.5. Padres under 5.5, and that comes in at minus 139.
Yeah, I don't mind this at all. I was actually looking at parlaying the White Sox team total under 5.5 with the Padres team total under 5.5. You have really good pitching weather. I'm pretty sure San Diego is top 2 or 3 pitching stadiums in all of baseball. The wind's not really a factor. Again, temperatures at 67 degrees. I think this is a really sharp look. And again, Coors is Coors. Someone's going to score. I happen to be on the other side of that game, but I do expect runs from both sides. Drew, if you're with us, feel free to step in with your plays, but we're going to move. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Go on. Do you have any thoughts on?
Oh, I was saying, yeah, I was going to say, I like your guys' plays a lot. Prince, when it comes to yours, love the team totals combo you did. I would say for the Braves, one is it depends like also what Grant Holmes we get, but I think regardless of what Grant Holmes we get, if he allows, I think even less than like 4 runs, like even if he allows 4 runs, like the Braves bullpen has been, I still think, correct me if I'm wrong, Stern, they still have like the best bullpen in the league, like ERA wise, right? They've been really
Let me
good.
verify that, but I know that they were top 2 or 3 all season long.
So my statistics here show that they're second in terms of their bullpen right now.
Okay. That tells you right there. Like if they're second, and then Grant Holmes, I know can be off and on, but he usually will only allow like 3 or 4 runs at most. So I think under 5.5 is really good for that part of a parlay
Yeah,
piece.
and by the way, I have the Braves bullpen ranked 5th in my metrics, which takes into account expected xFIP, FIP, Sierra, ERA, ground ball rates, strikeout rates, walk rates, all the underlying metrics I put together to get a good bead on how a team is and what their bullpen is like, and I have Braves ranked 5th.
So
So
his is a little more comprehensive. Mine was just based on ERA. But yeah.
yeah, ERA just tells, I would say maybe 20% of the story. You definitely have to look at the teams that are pitching worse or better than expected. And you also have to take into account their last 30 days, their last 2 weeks, and try to understand which direction they are going. I would say that they're pretty steady Eddie for the most part. And I have no problems backing the Braves bullpen, despite, I guess, their lack of production in the last month. I do like them to bounce back. All right, let's talk about World Cup here. I'm excited. It took me about a half an hour at my desk, Prince, to put in all your plays for the week. So
Real quick, sorry to interrupt you. If you don't mind, can we go to the WNBA next?
of
Because I have
course,
a lot to
yeah,
say about World Cup. WNBA will be a little quicker. I like to cover WNBA before World Cup. So,
absolutely no problem. Let's
cool,
go.
awesome. All right, let's do it then. All right, so we do have a play in the W tonight. We got a 4-game slate here. As we got the Sky taking on the Sun, Tempo and Dream, Mercury taking on the Fever, and the Wings heading to Seattle taking on the Storm. I'm going to go to another player prop here. These player props have been pretty solid for us, so we're going to continue to go back to the well here. Taking Angel Reese. Guess what? 10 plus rebounds. She's taking on the Toronto Tempo. The Tempo are the worst rebounding team in the league statistically. Bottom of the league here. So I fully expect Angel Reese to crash the boards and get a lot of rebounds in this one. 10 plus boards shouldn't be a problem for her against the worst rebounding team in the league. And we're going to parlay that with guess who? Caitlin Clark. But we're going to go to her 3-point props this time. We're going to take her at 2 plus threes, taking on the Mercury. Phoenix Mercury, dead last in defending the 3-point shot, bottom of the league here in terms of defensive metrics for 3-pointers. So I think you have 2 superstars here going up against the worst team statistically in their favorable category. So Angel Reese, 10 plus boards. Caitlin Clark, 2 plus threes. That comes in at minus 140.
Yeah, what can you say? I mean, this is pretty much as close to automatic as you can get. I do have a question for you in the W. Chicago versus, is it Connecticut? Yeah, Chicago,
Yeah, Connecticut.
Connecticut. Do you have a lean on the over or under in that game?
It's funny you asked me that. So that was almost going to be a third leg of this parlay, but I was trying to keep it down to 2 legs. I like the over in this one. You have 2 teams defensively that are towards the bottom of the league. And so I also think these 2 teams like to play an up-tempo pace as well. So I would definitely lean towards the over, and I might actually make that official here before tip-off.
Okay, the reason why I said that is I had a 50% boost to use in the WNBA, and I used it on the over on FanDuel, and then over on DK and MGM, I took the under for a risk-free with a potential to middle on 167 exactly. So, yeah, if it's over, I win 2 units. If it lands, I win 15 units, and if it goes under, I lose nothing. So I'm very interested in watching that game. So yeah, I'm happy that you're on the over as well, because that's the second highest payout for me. All right, ready for World Cup?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, what do you want to do? We'll recap what the weekend that was. I guess we'll start off there. So, of course, this World Cup's been awesome. Lots of exciting games here. Lots of high scoring. One of the highest scoring World Cups of all time so far is what we're trending right now. If we're looking at over the weekend here, we've had some surprising results. One of those being Ecuador, Curacao, drawing 0-0. What a result for Curacao. If you're an Ecuadorian fan, wow, what a disappointment there. I mean, I know this Ecuador team struggles to score, but you have to put it in the back of the net against Curacao. But they did it, so shout out to Curacao. What a great result for them. Looking at yesterday's results, some more shocking results. Cape Verde drawing Uruguay 2-2. What ended up being one of the more entertaining matches of the tournament. Cape Verde now sitting at 2 points, just a draw away, realistically, from advancing to the knockout stages, which would be one incredible accomplishment for such a small island as a Cape Verde. So very much in it here in terms of the knockout stages. Of course, we had Belgium drawing Iran 0-0, which, of course, as an Iranian fan myself here, very happy to see that. I thought we were going to get blown out. Shocked that we got a point at this one. So we put ourselves in a good situation as well, just needing to avoid a defeat against Egypt in our last game. We should be all set, hopefully, for the knockout stages. Of course, there's going to be some math involved in there, but I think we're in a good position here as an Iran fan here. Of course, Egypt coming off of a big win against New Zealand, 3-1. Game they wish they were losing 1-0 at the half, so really turned it on the second half and got a very important 3 points in that group. So a lot of action going on, and we'll just get right into it, guys. I'll just start off here for today. I forgot to give out plays for today over on Friday, so I'll go ahead and do that now. That's my bad. I like to give out plays 24 hours in advance at least, to give our replay listeners a chance to get these plays in. But in any case, we'll go ahead and get into it now. We do have a 1 p.m. Eastern kickoff here coming off shortly as we're doing this live. It's about an hour from now as we're doing this show live. We got Argentina taking on Austria. And what I landed on here was a little bit of a unique play. I'm going to take Argentina over 1.5 offsides. And you're going to get this at minus 150. When we're looking at Argentina, this has hit in 8 of their last 10 matches overall. So we're just looking for 2 offsides calls against Argentina. They're playing a team in Austria that plays a very high line, a very ultra-aggressive counter-pressing team. And when you play those kind of teams, teams that play high line, look at a Barcelona, for example, look at a Bayern Munich, teams that play a high line, you typically see a lot of offsides being called against the opponent because that high line is very difficult to navigate when you're a forward on the other team. So I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities here to get some offsides being called against Argentina, playing against this high line of Austria. Of course, VAR is going to come into play. We all know VAR tends to call more offsides than not. So I think just asking for 2 offsides in this whole game here, given the trends for Argentina, again, it's hit 8 of the last 10, playing a very highly aggressive Austrian side. I think that's a great value here, getting at minus 150. Next up today, we got an 8 p.m. Eastern kickoff tonight where we have Norway taking on Senegal. This could be one of the matches of the tournament. Really excited to see this one. I'm going to be on both teams to score here, minus 145. I think this one could be a very high-scoring game. Both teams offensively have a lot of talent going forward, and defensively, they're a little bit shaky. So I think this one's set up to be a really entertaining back-and-forth game here. Another player prop, of course, Erling Haaland, 80-time goal scorer. He was actually at plus money yesterday. He's now at like minus 110. Anytime you can get Erling Haaland at such a playable price as a goal scorer, you have to play it. Especially in a game that's likely to be wide open. I'm really shocked that we're getting such a great value on Erling Haaland to score. That's not going to be official for me, but I really like that a lot if you're looking for player props. Most before I get into my other 2 plays, because I got 2 more plays. I got 2 more plays for tomorrow. Most, I'm going to ask you for your thoughts on those 2 plays. Drew, I'll ask you for your thoughts on those 2 plays, and then I'll get into my other 2 plays for tomorrow. Most, any thoughts for you?
No, not really. I'm pretty much on board. I like the both teams to score in Norway, Senegal. I think that's a really good look there. Yeah, and I'm very much. I really like the play on Argentina's over 1.5 offsides. We saw it in the first match. They're running all over the place. We've seen it honestly across almost all the teams. A ton of offsides call, and I'm kind of surprised that the number is still stuck at 1.5.
Yeah, especially considering Austria. Like I said, so just to recap, Austria, their head coach comes from the Red Bull umbrella. We've talked about the Red Bull umbrella before. Red Bull Salzburg, Red Bull Bragantino, Red Bull New York, Red Bull Leipzig. All these teams play this similar style. They play a very high press counterattack, not counterattack, I'm sorry, I'm losing the word here, but counterpressing, a very high line type of a defensive style, which tends to lead to a lot of offsides for the opponent, because again, it's very difficult for an offensive player to navigate. So, especially considering that, I think this is a really, really great place. I'm glad you're on board with me on that. Drew, any thoughts for you on these 2 plays before we get into my next 2?
Yeah, you mentioned Norway. Oh, it looks like Erling Haaland just scored. I'm just kidding. But
For real.
I love your over 1.5 offsides, especially Argentina. I know I've been following you, I think you've talked about this in the past too. Something I do like about this a lot, because I believe it's in the Dallas Cowboys Stadium and in the Dome. Something I've learned just playing soccer in general. I played one time indoor in high school, because another stadium had actually, crazy California schools have a closed dome. But usually more offsides happen in dome because you have fresher legs and you're willing to run more. So I like that one a lot.
Yep, I think that's an excellent valid point to add on there for sure. Definitely makes a difference. So, cool. All right, glad to see you guys are on board with that. All right, let's go ahead and move into the game for tomorrow. Then these ones are going to be taking place on Tuesday. Again, I'm going to give 2 plays on the show. If you guys want the rest of my World Cup plays, which is going to be all of them, including all live plays, all player props, all futures plays, you guys are going to find that over on my X profile at PrincePix10. Send me a DM. It's a 2-step process to join the VIP channel, where you will find each and every single play throughout the World Cup for me. But in terms of the show plays here, let's get into it. We got another 1 p.m. Eastern kickoff tomorrow. This is going to be Tuesday. We have Uzbekistan taking on Portugal. Look, I've been very bullish on Uzbekistan. I'm going to continue to be bullish on them. I thought they played excellent against Colombia. They were right there, hung in there with them for the majority of the match. The late goal saw us lose on a +1.5. But I'm going to go right back to the well here. I'm taking Uzbekistan +2. We're going to get them a +2 in this one. This comes in at -120, which I think is an excellent price. Taking on a Portuguese side that, look, is a little bit in flux right now. I think very much underperformed against Congo. And they have the Cristiano Ronaldo problem, which, look, as much of a fan I am as of CR7, I think right now he's more of a distraction than he is a help. And so all the media attention on him. Is he going to play? How productive is he going to be? I think it's taking away minutes from other players who could be more productive, in my personal opinion. And so I think this Uzbekistan team is full of fight, full of synergy here, which is you guys are seeing that goes a long way in the World Cup. You look at teams like Cape Verde, you look at teams like Curacao, you look at teams like these smaller nations that are punching above their weight. Absolutely, the vibes matter, the chemistry matters. And the will to win, I would say, makes a big difference here in these sprint tournaments. This is not a marathon. This is a sprint. You're not talking about a 40 game league here, like a Premier League, a domestic league. Where the cream of the crop tends to rise to the top over time. This is a very short sprint where all you need to do is have 90 minutes of good soccer, and you can get a result. So, looking at Uzbekistan here, this is a team that has played together for many years. They came up together through the youth ranks. This team has pretty much stuck together throughout the years here. So, very much familiar with each other, and I really like them here at +2, which means, guys, if you're not familiar with how that works, if they lose by 1, we win the bet. If they lose by 2, we push, we get our money back. The only way we lose is if Uzbekistan lose this game by 3 or more goals. Given their form, I don't think that's very likely here. So I'll take Uzbekistan +2, -120. And then my other play for tomorrow is going to be the 4 p.m. Eastern kick. England, is it coming home? Not sure yet. They're going to be taking on Ghana. I'm looking at Ghana here under 0.5 goals. I think they get shot out here. I'm going to get it at -150. England has held a clean sheet in 8 of their last 12 matches. Ghana very, very much struggle offensively against Panama. And they have a head coach in Carlos Queiroz, who is the former head coach of Iran, coached Iran for many years, has been around other international teams as well. And the one thing about Carlos Queiroz, he is absolutely a bunker in, all 10 guys in the box, play defense and wait to hit him on a counterattack. He is an extremely, extremely pragmatic coach. It's been his criticism over the years, and that's exactly how he coached with Ghana here in their first game. I think we're going to see a similar thing here. I don't think Ghana is really interested in scoring in this game, to be completely honest. I think this is more of a goal differential game for Ghana. As long as they don't get blown out, they got their 3 points already against Panama. As long as they don't get blown out in this game, they should be set up against Croatia, where they can maybe attack Croatia and maybe look for some kind of a result there. Worst case scenario, their main objective right now, I think, is goal differential at 3 points. If you have maybe a -1 at worst, -2, you may still get in. It all depends on how the other groups work out. But remember, 8 of the 12 third place teams go through. So 3 points with a very minimal goal differential should be enough. I think that's the way this Ghana team is going to approach it. So I really don't see them looking to attack much at all against this British team. So give me Ghana not to score at -150. Stern, any thoughts on those?
Yes, actually, I do. Before I saw your play, Uzbekistan, Portugal, my favorite play was both teams to score. I didn't want to take Portugal late to score 2 or 3 goals. I just wanted to take each team to score 1, but I have a projected score of 2-1 here. And I think that the +2 on the spread is an excellent look. And then for Ghana, England, I kind of agree with you. I have a projected score of 2-0 towards England here. I'm very much on board. I like both of these plays. The Uzbekistan team will surprise people. We've talked about it on the show time and time again. At some point, they're going to show up. They're way too talented not to. And they play competitively, really, for the first 75 to 80 minutes. They really just have to lock down that final 10 minutes,
Yeah, I mean they were right there in basically Bogota, what north? I would say. Maybe that crowd was 99% all Colombian fans, and they were right there with one of the best teams in the world. So yeah, I'm right with you there. I love this Uzbekistan team. And yeah, I mean I like your 2-0 score prediction for England. I think that's very likely. Low scoring game, I think in general. So I'm with you on that. Drew, first of all, any thoughts for you on these plays? And then I know you've had coming up with World Cup plays yourself. First, any thoughts for you, and then do you have a World Cup play to give everyone?
No thoughts for the ones you said tomorrow. Of course, I love them. I'm still learning with that aspect, but I do have a play for today that I liked. It kind of goes with what you said. I like your both teams to score. I think with the Norway Senegal game, I actually I could pick a side and do the draw breaker, but I'm gonna do this for my Apple and Apple Bet TV and Get promo for DraftKings. But I like a draw for that game at plus 245. I think both these teams are teams like that can score on offense. I know Norway has a really good Mendy, who's a pretty good goalie, but this is one of those where Norway relies heavily on Holland, and I can see one of those where it could be like a 2-2 game. I don't really see one team blowing out necessarily the other, so I think to get a draw at plus 245 for these two teams are pretty good. Is pretty good value. What do you think?
Yep, could definitely see that happening. These are two pretty equal teams. Two teams that, like you said, 1-1, 2-2. Very well could be the final score here. So I like that a lot. I think that's a solid look. For me personally, I prefer to play double chances and draw no bets. I hate relying on a draw just because it's just just a thing for me. I don't know what it is, but I don't hate it. I think it's a very real possibility these two teams could end up drawing.
Oh, and for this, I'm probably going to do not what I've been putting on my other World Cup plays. I'll probably do like 0.25 units on it or something, or 0.2 because it's a draw, so be safer. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. And I'm probably gonna play my DK promo on one of these teams. I'll have to do a little bit more research, but most likely I'll probably be attacking this game. But yeah, I like that a lot.
Just going towards the model. Thank you, Mike McClure. If you're not familiar with him, definitely go follow him on Twitter, X Sportsline. He is one of my major influences, and I get a lot of my picks and plays and suggestions from him. He has a projected score of 1-1 in Senegal versus Norway. Both teams to score, cashing 65% of the time. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, love it. Nope, like I said, I'm on both teams to score, so that fits right in line with my thoughts.
Yep. And right before we move on from Sagar, we have special guest Brad Betts. Welcome in, brother. How you doing?
Good day, gentlemen. It's World Cup Monday, so it's always excitement here in this household. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're phenomenal. We're having
Doing
such a good
great.
show. Enjoying the weather as well.
Well, of course, I wanted to butt in on this Norway talk because I absolutely love footy and I absolutely love Norway specifically. Just so you know, they've hit over 2.5 goals now in 22 of 26 competitive matches coming into this match against the Senegal team, who's hit 12 of 18 to the over 2.5. You've regularly seen goals with these squads, but specifically with Norway, super open football, super attacking football, attack heavy lineup. So you got the stars up front, and that means you got to get the ball to your best players. So you often see more attack, more people going forward, exposing that back end. And that's kind of what Senegal does really well. Sadio Mane, Nico Jackson, they're going to be looking to counter. There's a good chance that we see a lot of goals, not just in this match, but really in all 4 matches today. The last one I kind of am going back and forth on, but Argentina will score as necessary, or if Austria give away chances, i.e., what happened in that first match against Algeria. It's going to be easy. Probably see Messi score. That's pretty much the entire offense for Argentina. How many they score, who knows? Probably score multiple if he gets the opportunity. You got Kylian Mbappe, who's going to probably score multiple. That game should have a lot of goals. How can you not bet against Erling Haaland to score? Guy is an absolute machine. If he gets one opportunity, he's going to get balls in the air. They serve him constantly to him and Shorloff with those really great players underneath like Odegaard and Berg. So that's what's going to do. Back forward shift, cross, try and finish. And also running through those through balls. He's so fast, Erling Haaland, and not just fast, he's strong. So these guys are trying. The best thing that a defender does is they body an attacker off the ball when they're running through to negate the speed. Well, that's nearly impossible with a guy who's an absolute physical machine. So Erling Haaland, look for him on those through balls. If he's getting in behind Senegal, look for multiple goals and continue to score in a similar fashion to what happened in the first match for Norway. Let me know if you have any other thoughts.
Yeah, am I placing an over 2.5 on the Norway-Senegal game? Or is it Norway? Yeah, Norway-Senegal.
I've been meditating on that. I kind of want to see the lineup first and foremost. I want to see who's in the midfield for Norway. I'm kind of a lineup junkie. It really changes whether or not I want to attack it live. With the number the way it is, it's so low. Like that over 2.5 at -114, -115, depending on what book you're getting it at, or a little higher if you're going for more of a juiced book. With Norway, it might not happen in the first couple minutes. And with a 2.5 right there, it can get down to an over 2 within 15 minutes. And an over 2 is such a different bet to the over 2.5 because of how frequent the just 2 goals happens in football. If one goal happens, typically you see the second, whether or not it's an equalizer or that team pushing forward. You often don't see a 1-0. So that's what I'm going to be looking at early.
Phenomenal. Thank you so much. Prince, give it to you, buddy.
Yeah, what's up, dude? Thanks again, Brad, for joining us, of course. Yeah, so one question for you, bro. We're looking at the third place teams, right? 8 of the 12 are going to advance. I'm curious to see, and I know this is probably just a guess because there's too many factors that could go into it. It's probably too early to really know what that cutoff line is. But we always try to project, for example, in golf, right? We try to project what the cutoff line is in terms of making the cut or not. Similar concept here in this one. What do you think is going to be like the cutoff? Like, I think if you get 3 points, most likely you're going to be safe. I would say if you have a goal differential of maybe like -1 or better, you should be safe. But do you have any thoughts on that? Like any kind of projections that just off the top of your head that you think might end up being the cutoff line here?
It'll probably be around 3, and it's all depending on what happens in your group, because that third place team is moving forward, right? So it's the best of the third place teams, and that just depends on how your group finishes with how many points. If you lost 2, tied 1, you could have 1 point, and that means you're not going to make it. Probably look for a 3-point type of team. Your Cape Verde could possibly go forward with 3 ties in the World Cup, which is never, I believe, never happened before. With the expanded playing field, everything has changed. With going into this final match day, with the expanded field, having the third place team and the goal differential change behind the head-to-head, it's basically impossible to run projections and simulations because one goal could change the outcome of 4 or 5 different teams. And that could happen in the 89th minute on the final day. So it's kind of one of those situations where it's best to not even look at because of you can print it out right now and look at that and then go back to what it is. And you'll look at those sheets and be like, okay, this isn't even close. So you just kind of take it one day at a time.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I think there's just so many different factors that goes into it. I think this third match day in these groups is going to be absolute chaos, especially for these teams that are on the fringe. I'm really excited to see how that all works out. But yeah, that's the only question for you, dude. So yeah, of course, thanks again for jumping on. Stern, where do we want to go from here? Of course, at some point we get to our question of the day, which we got to go to Brad to that, don't we? Oh, Drew, I'm sorry, Drew. What's up, dude?
Yeah. I was going to ask Brad, I guess, and you as well, because when I've played like just soccer in general, I've always been taught because like we saw, Ronaldo's like 6'2" and him as a striker, that's impressive. But when we see someone like Haaland who's like 6'4", 6'5", be a striker, it was always considered like, hey, the taller you are, the worse you'll probably be as a striker because, you don't have shorter legs, and then people can steal the ball easier. They can block the shot because you have to wind up. Your stamina's not as good because you have so much weight. And the fact that he's all this, like, I guess, could you like explain like why it's like how is Haaland doing this at his height and size, being this good of a striker? Because like always taught something else. Like you can't be this tall and this good as a striker, especially with all the factors in.
Well, there's a few players throughout history where you can really look at and say Holland is just a prototype of these guys put together. And it is true. But Holland specifically, his game is, and he has said in interviews verbatim, I would like to touch the ball 2 times and score 2 goals. And I've never heard that before in football. The most thing that football players like to do is get your foot on the ball. You like to go get touches. It makes you get a good feel of the match. But he's not really there to play soccer in a sense. He is like the striker position, and the striker position has a bunch of facets to it, but strength and hold up play and the ability to create space and draw defenders is probably your most important attribute, and he's got that. He's got it to a T, because if you lose him, he's so big physically and strong that he's just going to outmuscle you and get to the space that you can't get to. A defender's best attribute is the same as Holland's, so he's almost negating it. Yeah, he also, but you suffer with some things with Holland. You suffer that short play. So he is a one-dimensional type of player, but that dimension is fantastic. You could almost attribute him a little bit to a Kylian Mbappe, who doesn't play defense. Uh, they're both very, very fast, but Kylian's more shifty than Holland, and Holland's better in the air. So that would be your differentiation. But you kind of liken him to somebody maybe like a Thierry Henry if you really allowed him to play through the middle, as far as size and pace. But feet wise, I mean, I don't even know if you can attribute him to really anybody, maybe like a Romelu Lukaku, but even he drops in and hits the ball. Holland's different. That's why you look for him to score, because that's the only thing that he's thinking about.
I would say when you look
Yeah.
at him, especially compared to the other players around him, he looks like he was built in a lab. And if you want to just to see the proof in the pudding of what Brad just said, when Norway has a not a free kick, a corner, and they're all rumbling around, watch how they play Holland and watch how the Norway gets Holland free. And it is incredible watching. It's one of the most fun little game inside the games when Norway takes corners with Holland on the field. It's really a lot of fun.
If you like basketball, this is the most like basketball thing probably in any other sport, is the corner kick, because it's essentially just running pick plays and throwing the ball up for an alley-oop, kind of sort of in a really basic soccer level, but it is that, and physicality wins. So you've seen a lot of soccer start to push to that physical brand, and a lot of physical players are starting to enter, where the smaller, in the tight spaces, there's just not as many of them, because it's such a huge ability to have height and win balls in the air. It gives you an entire facet of the game that these guys who are shorter can't do. It just gives you a leg up. If you're 50% as good as them and you win the ball in the air, you can really be dynamic and dominate certain parts of the field, i.e. the striker position.
Yeah, he's just like the ultimate poacher, right? In my opinion, I think that's a good way to categorize him. He's just lethal. Anywhere in front of the net is likely to go in when Holland is around. So, yeah, one of my favorite players for sure. But one more question for you, Brad, and I'll try to make this quick here, and then we'll try to wrap it up. A hot topic right now: USMNT circles. Of course, they have the match against Turkey. Doesn't matter. It's a rare situation where you have a real dead rubber in a World Cup match where neither team has anything to play for. Turkey, of course, already eliminated. U.S. cannot do anything better than get first place in their group, which they blocked up. So I'm going to put you as the head coach, Brad. Poach got sick. He's out. They called you out in Tennessee. They said, hey, Brad, we need you to catch a flight and come coach this U.S. men's team on Thursday against Turkey. Who do you play in that game and why?
Well, I would put an almost full rotation. I would put a few of those guys. Well, again, so first and foremost, you take out every player with a yellow card, because if you get a second yellow card, you are out of the first match in the next knockout phase. So you won't see, probably most likely, and if we're an intelligent group, the Chris Richards of the world, he has a yellow, fantastic player, he'll sit. You probably will see Pulisic. maybe not start, but he should feature, because that's a match where he can go out there and, have a kickabout with the boys and feel those legs out and not have any pressure. Your Gio Reynas of the world, the guys who are sitting there on the fringe, biting their nails, waiting to get in the game, waiting to impress and put on a performance. Those are guys who will play. You might see a really strong attack as far as a gung-ho nature with the U.S., because it doesn't really matter. There's no win or lose. You've already topped the group. Why not go out there, have fun, score some goals on your home turf, especially if you're a rotated player and you're not a first team on the sheet right now? You want to go out there and say, hey, I deserve to be playing. You need to put me in.
So, do you think there's any risk of losing momentum if they lose the game? Would you say that at all, or?
No, not at all, depending on the lineup. I mean, if you go out there and throw out your first team and you guys look poor, then it's not really great. A rotated side loses, no big deal. It's more of the play. How do we look as far as passing and moving? Who's Turkey playing? Are they playing their full squad? Are they coming at us? Because Turkey has beat us in the past and handled us pretty well when they've played us 1v1 as far as team v team. So that's what I'll be interested in, who Turkey actually plays, how they do, who's going to be on the field. You'll see most of those guys rotated, or if they do and are a starter, you'll see them play maybe 50, 60 minutes and then get out of there. Anybody with a yellow, anybody with any nagging injury or issue, it should be a really exciting match. You've never seen the United States have a match at the World Cup where nothing matters. It'll be probably a really good feel-good type of event. And I think the U.S. national team actually does go and put on a performance.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's an entertaining game as well. I think you're likely to see a wide open end type of match. And I tend to agree. I think health is more important at this point. I don't think the result really matters that much. Obviously, it doesn't. But I don't think you lose momentum. I'm with you. I don't think you lose too much momentum. As long as you don't get blown out by too much. I mean, a couple goal loss, whatever, is okay. I think most importantly is getting those guys some minutes. Who maybe haven't gotten minutes. So if their name is called, they've got some minutes under their belt, and they won't be walking in cold into a high pressure situation. So yeah, that's kind of the way I look at it. I don't think it really matters. I wouldn't play your yellow cards. I wouldn't play your key players. If you do, play them very limited minutes. But yeah, give the other guys a shot is the way I look at it. So all right, cool. Stern, any other thoughts on the World Cup? Anything else for Brad before we wrap it up and get into our questions or anything else?
I'm just curious why Turkey is absolutely blowing it. But other than that, no, not really.
60 shots, Stern. 60 shots without a goal. Absolutely incredible amongst the two games for Turkey.
Just absolutely abysmal play. But yeah, let's give it a Brad. I want a question of the day from the main man himself.
I actually do have a fact real quick.
All right, yeah, what's up?
Oh yeah, it'll be quick. There's only been 2 hat tricks in World Cup final history. Kylian Mbappe, of course, in 2022, and then Jeff Hurst, 1966 for England. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, it's really incredible. I mean, usually you have lower scoring games. I wonder if this trend of higher scoring World Cup games is going to continue, and if they're going to put like a separation between the people who did it before the expansion and the people who did it after the expansion, you know?
Well, let's keep in mind
I think that
this World Cup is all different, right? We have now 2 timeouts effectively that come halfway through the half, which allows you to rest, regain momentum, have coaching. So anything that we have this World Cup, you can almost just put an asterisk on it, because I believe that's such a differentiator, and you've seen that with the momentum shifts, momentum switches between teams. Often you'll get a team just say, hey, we only got 10 minutes till the water break. Let's just hold on, and then we can comfortably walk off the field, regain our breath, and then go out there and try and do it all over again. Whereas the other team is now saying, we're going to shell. We're going to throw everything before half because we are a better team, i.e. you're Uruguay. They scored too late. I didn't actually think they were going to score. I had played the corner prop, which is something that people should be possibly looking at. It's a narrative play that I've been looking at, especially in the World Cup, is a team that is a favorite that goes down on the goal line. Oftentimes you see that match hit the corners because they are pushing forward so much that the shots and the various opportunities, there's more at that end. All of it, chance creation, it and can come into the corner market, especially in the international play, because these teams are just fighting for their life. And a goal happening is the worst thing ever, but a corner is survivable. And the forgot to mention this, when you're delayed on the corner or the goal kick, so you take too much time, the time delay, they will give a corner, so that is going to change the corner total as well.
Yeah, I love that. I love the new rule changes here that they've implemented in this World Cup. I think statistically there's been more goals coming off of the hydration break. So right there we're seeing it. Even though a lot of people hate it, but statistically speaking, it's leading to more goals. So I think we all like more goals, and I think it's probably here to stay. Although the Euros have already come out and said that they're not going to have the hydration break in the 2028 Euros. They said they will not be having those there. So we'll see if this is just an experiment or how mainstay this ends up being going
Make
forward.
it go away.
Yeah, I know you hate it. You hate the hydration break. All right. Sorry, sir. I'm just gonna jump in because you were on mute for a little bit. Michael, I see you joined to speak. Any thoughts from you? Good morning, dude. What's going on?
Good morning, everybody. Just wanted to comment on Saturday between Curacao and Electric. I was at the game, and it was Ecuador Curacao.
Wait, sorry, it's really hard to hear you. Do you mind maybe speaking closer
Yeah,
to the
can you hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit better.
Okay, so I was at the game on Saturday between Curacao and Ecuador in Kansas City, and it was absolutely electric. 90-10 Ecuadorian fans. It was just, it's something I've never experienced in my life. It was a great game. Eli Room, man of the match, deserved it. Great performance by him, and after the match was over, all the Ecuadorian fans were pissed off. Like, they were embarrassed because they couldn't see.
Yeah, I imagine so. Yeah, I imagine so. Weren't you, if I'm not mistaken, you were seated behind the Curacao goal, were you not?
Yeah, in the first, Ecuador was attacking my way in the first half.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I mean, incredible accomplishment from Eloy Room. 15 saves, one shy of the all-time World Cup record, which was from Tim Howard back in, I think, 2010, I believe, or maybe it was 2014. But anyway, yeah, what a game to go to. I'm sure the vibes were immaculate. Anytime it's a World Cup game, right? It's something that's just an experience. So really cool. I'm glad you were able to go there and experience that. Yeah, dude.
It was a good time. Now I'm paying for it today. So.
Yeah, we also have a guest requesting to speak. ITM Pot, I think. Did you request to speak? I tried to bring you on.
Yeah, he did. ITM, if you want to go ahead and request to speak again, we'd be more than happy to have you on here if you have some thoughts you want to share with us or any comments or questions. We saw that you had requested to speak. It looks like you're back to listener mode now. So if you just want to request to speak again, we'd be happy to take your thoughts. Otherwise, we could just keep it moving here.
Yeah, and also thank you for listening. I've seen you in our live listeners very often. I appreciate you and everyone else who listens and follows along with our podcast. We are very much moving with forward momentum with more listeners pretty much every single day. So thank you, and thank you for everybody here. But if you want to request, we'll definitely bring you on. But let's get to our question of the day, Brad. What do you got for us?
Oh God, I did not. I was thinking about World Cup. I'm sorry, I did not have a question.
That's all good. I'm sure we could always go to Drew, and I'm mentioning that because I'm going to give him about 15 seconds to think of a question before we go to him. Unless, Prince, you have anything relevant to the day?
No, but I'm thinking too at the same time. So maybe you can filibuster for 15 seconds, and one of us will come up with the question.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, good.
Yeah, let's go. This goes into doing kind of what Michael said, going to a stadium. what was your best? It could be anywhere. It could be your hometown or anything. But what was your favorite experience going to any kind of sports stadium, whether it was your team or not? And you're like, God, I love sports, or like this stadium is amazing. The crowd's electric.
I can go first. I got one ready to go. I think it was the 2003 ALCS Red Sox versus Yankees Game 6. Now, the Yankees lost, but my uncle had gotten us tickets. We drove all the way to Boston. We were in Fenway Park wearing our Yankee gear. And I think it went into like 16 innings or 15 innings or something like that. But my dad took us. It was September. We ended up getting like a 3-foot long hot dog somewhere in the streets over there. And that was just an incredible experience, even though a bunch of Red Sox fans were like pushing us around and yelling "F you kids." And I mean, we were literally, couldn't have been more than 10. But that was like the height of the rivalry. At that point, the Red Sox hadn't won yet in almost 100 years. And the Yankees were just dominant. We had Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez. It was just the stars
Gary
of the
Sheffield.
stars. And yeah, that was my favorite memory, even though the Yankees lost. But the next game, in Game 7, was Aaron Boone's home run in like the bottom of the 18th or something to walk it off. So it was good, fuzzy, warm feelings all around. Prince,
That's
what do you
awesome.
got?
Yeah, so for me, it's gonna be a little off the wall, but of course it is, right? It's me. You know what? I have a fond memory of when I was a younger kid. I went to an indoor professional soccer game. Chicago Power was the team, and back then indoor soccer was a really big thing. A professional indoor soccer was really big. It was almost mainstream. A lot of attendance was pretty high, and there was a lot of fan stuff. It's not what it is now, but in any case, I just remember I don't remember any details because I was pretty young, but I just remember like every time I would go to one of those games, it was so much fun. And of course, the fast paced action of indoor soccer is always like a fun spectacle to watch. You see a lot of goals, you see a lot of intensity. At one game, we actually got to play at halftime. We got to play on the field of the professional Chicago Power field. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I just remember like as a kid, just like I said, not really a mainstream today, but it was a lot of fun back then. And just going to Chicago Power games were a lot of fun for me. I've been to Chicago Bears games, I've been to Chicago Bulls games. Of course, those are always something that's always going to be a memory. But in terms of like just something that I guess it kind of propelled me into sports, I would say, like at a young age, like watching Chicago Power, having a lot of fun there, kind of pushed me more into soccer, more into sports, and things like that. So that'd be my answer.
Did you bring your own chips and ketchup? I'm so sorry.
Oh
That
man,
stuck with me for the
I'm gonna
rest
have to
of
ask
my
my
life.
parents. No, that's a great question. I'm sure if I could, I would have.
I'm so sorry. I'm gonna just keep bringing that up.
There's nothing to be sorry about. Hey, I'll stand by it forever. I don't care. We can bring it up every day. Tortilla chips and ketchup, guys. For those of you who don't know, try it. It'll change your
Please
life.
don't. Brad, what do you got?
I'd say I got 2 events, and both are not soccer, believe it or not. I'd say the most exciting event is it was the game 6 or game 7 of the Oklahoma City Memphis Grizzlies playoff match game, whatever you call it, back circa 2010, 9, 8.
Was that the Zach Randolph years? Zach Randolph was he on the Grizzlies?
Yes, he was.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
And it went to triple overtime, and it was just an unbelievable sporting event to be at. And it was just like last second shot after last second shot. That was excitement. And then I'd say my best sporting event, my coolest moment, I went to Fenway when I was younger, and this is funny, with a church choir, and we sang the national anthem, but we painted up "Hit It Here, Big Poppy." All of us were a letter, and Big Poppy hit 2 home runs, and he hit one within 15 feet, and then Manny Ramirez also hit a home run right next to us, and they were all dead center right to us, which is where we were, out straight to just a little bit to your right, so that would be right field. And it was amazing. It just super cool to do that as a kid, and then that happened.
That's a lot of fun. And honestly, I grew up my entire life hating Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz. Now, as a real, more or less real adult, I can appreciate how awesome those two were, especially back to back. That was phenomenal. Those Yankee Red Sox rivalry games were unreal. Stars up and down the lineup. The rotations were insane. Just some of the greatest memories I'll ever have in my entire life. Hands down. What's your second one?
It was the Grizzlies, and it was the Fenway Park.
Oh, sorry about that. Drew, what do you got?
Yeah.
Hey, Drew, if you're speaking, you're on mute. But what was your answer to your own question?
Yeah, definitely. I would say, because of course I can say when I was a kid, anytime I went to see a Barry's Bonds game, they would wave chickens and stuff when people try to walk them and stuff. That was amazing. But I'm going to go to one of my most memorable events that wasn't necessarily even my team. It was my stepdad's, where I grew up watching. Go Wolverines, I will say that. But it was going to the Big House. I went there. I got lucky enough to go there a few times, travel in Michigan with my stepdad. That's where he's from. When I walked into the stadium first, and I was like a little empty, and then when this thing filled, like, I'm gonna say this, man. It was a Michigan State game that I went to, not the one where it was like the punt fail, but they ended up winning by a few points. But the Big House, there's nothing like the Big House. I think it's like the high stadium that's not a NASCAR stadium like in the world or whatever. It's like something crazy. It can hold like over 128,000 fans, and it's just the environment, like you can feel the whole place shaking, and it's not like fancily built. It's literally a bowl where you see 100,000+ fans, and it's just every time I get to go there, especially if you love sports. The fans are amazing. The fans they weren't hostile to Michigan. They love their football there. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, surprise, surprise. We all have great sports stories, which kind of makes sense that we're all involved with sports later in our lives. Also, in general, if you guys are listening and you want to share your story or answer to our question of the days, obviously, please request. This is for all of us. But we are running up against time here, 12:38 p.m. Eastern. We have 20 minutes to go till the first World Cup match today, right, Prince? I didn't mess up the times today.
Nope, you got
All
it
right.
correct. Yep, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Any final thoughts from our panel here, Drew? Any thoughts from you,
Nope.
Brad?
I'd say in the World Cup, just watch for three guys to continually score, because they're kind of at odds with one another, specifically in not just the goal. Well, there really is four, but three specifically: Haaland, Mbappe, Messi. They all play today. And there's something about right now that they're in competition with one another to get the most goals, just because they are, not only do they want to be up there in the World Cup, this is Messi's last time that he can ever put goals in the net in the World Cup to count toward his records. And I know he doesn't think about that, but his teammates do. And so do the France teammates with Mbappe, and so do the Norwegian teammates with Haaland. He's younger, has more time, and he could also get up there. So these guys, look for them to score and score every match.
I would say the fourth one to watch out for, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Brad. Mr. Harry Kane is going to be in action tomorrow.
Yep, that's who I was going to say, but go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I stole it
No,
from
no,
you.
it's you're absolutely right. I didn't say it, so thank you.
All right. Well done, guys. This is a great show. Drew, why don't you recap us with your best bets? I'll go next, and then Prince will close us off.
Yeah, I have Eric Laura under 6.5 outs, a -155, and then Norway versus Senegal draw.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I think you cut out there at the end there, but yeah, I have a 3-leg MLB parlay here. A little complicated. I apologize. Got the Brewers team total over 2.5, Red Sox team total over 3.5, parlayed with the White Sox team total under 5.5 at -108. Prince, close us out.
So we'll start off in the WNBA. We're going to go with Angel Reese, 10 plus rebounds, with Caitlin Clark, 2 plus threes. That comes in at minus 140. In the major leagues, I'm going to take the Rockies team total over 3.5 runs, with the Padres team total under 5.5 runs. That comes in at minus 140. In the World Cup today, give me Argentina over 1.5 offsides, comes in at minus 150. I'm also going to be taking Norway, Senegal, both teams to score at minus 145. For the World Cup in action on Tuesday, I'm going to take Ghana, team total under 0.5 goals. We're looking for them to not score at minus 150. We're also going to take Uzbekistan on a +2 Asian handicap, minus 120 for that one. That's going to do it for us today, guys. This has been the Only Bet Sports Podcast, Monday edition, alongside SternBet, Drew Dooley. I'm the Prince of Picks. Shout out to Brad for his great contribution and analysis as always. We'll be back again tomorrow live on X at 11:30 a.m. Eastern on Only Bets Podcast over on X and Twitter. Have a great rest of your afternoon. Let's cash out these tickets. And hey, remember to eat your tortilla chips with ketchup. See y'all later.